So if order is heaven's first law, and we are spiritual beings that are having a human experience, and we're on a path to get back into our full embodiment of our spiritual self, and that's the growth path that we're on, then one of the things that we need to look at is anything that is disordered. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Woman podcast. I'm Amira Alvarez. I am the founder and CEO of the Unstoppable Woman, and I'm super excited that you're listening in today. And please subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, would love to have you in our community. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for being a loyal listener. I love that. We've got a great community of women entrepreneurs that are really just going for it. And I love hearing from all of you, and I love creating this content for you. So today I have a great episode. It is on the concept of order is heaven's first law. And this came up as a topic to teach on because in our mastermind, The Spirit of Wealth, I was coaching a client about how to handle a situation where she found a check that a previous client had given her, and she found it, I think it was in some bag or some drawer or something, and it was from a year ago, and she had never cashed it. She was asking me what she would do. And I gave her the direction and the coaching on how to handle that. And this is a great human being. This is a lawyer. This is a woman who has a lot going for her. And yet she is challenged with organization, order, clutter, keeping things in an ordered fashion. And so out of that coaching came a challenge for her to start decluttering and organizing her office and her personal life. And what happened was everyone on the call was like, I want to do this too. So the challenge was, just so you know what the challenge was, do 15 minutes a day. Just do 15 minutes a day. There is no world in which you can justify to me that you do not have 15 minutes a day to organize a drawer, declutter something, or start just one place. And it's taken off like wildfire, and people are clearing out closets and doing all sorts of things. Now, I have a caveat here before you start this process. And just so you know, I'm going to give you the intellectual concept behind this from the perspective of the universal laws of success, these natural laws, these spiritual laws that I use to help people make their businesses easier, to align themselves with the laws of the universe is in and of itself an act of creating order internally with yourself. And you'll find out why that's so important in just a little bit. But my caveat to you is that I often see, especially with people new in business. Now, this woman is not new in business, so I wasn't worried about this. But especially for women new in business, they get this concept of, oh, I have to declutter. Oh, I have to organize. And they spend all their time doing that rather than actually doing the needle moving work in their business. So my caveat to you, if you're listening in before we go any further, is you can't do this in lieu of the needle moving work in your business. Now, what is the needle moving work in your business? That is the outreach, the marketing and the sales, the things that directly lead to you growing your business. Okay, that's the needle moving work for most people in the beginning, and the beginning can be a long phase, until you have a very large team who's running the marketing and sales for you already. Those are the things you cannot take your eye off of. Those are the things that you need to be dedicated to. Even when someone leaves on your team and you have to go hire someone, and there's all sorts of very important things that you have to do that might distract you from sales and marketing, you still have to do the sales and marketing. Those are the needle moving things, okay? Now, with that in mind, can you fit in 15 minutes a day? Absolutely. Okay. And it's not in lieu, it's in addition. Okay. And if you do this over time, it will be such a breakthrough for you. Okay. So order is heaven's first law. Thomas Troward, who was a judge in England and studied the universal laws of success and was quite an intellectual, made that statement. Order is heaven's first law. So what is heaven? Heaven is the divine, the spiritual plane. I'm actually not talking about heaven as a place you go to after death. I'm talking about spirituality, divinity, godliness, okay? I'm talking about our desire to become more like the essence of our spiritual being, which is godliness. So we, as human beings, have an aspect of being human and an aspect of being like God, very spiritual. We are spiritual beings as well, just like God. And our human path is to let go of more of the things that are the human predicament and keep us in the struggle, and become more of our spiritual selves so that we can live more easeful, beautiful lives. The more that we become godlike and embody that, the easier life is. Okay, now this might be, you might be shutting off if you're like, I don't believe in God, or when you say God, this feels like religion. I'm not talking about that. If you come from a religious perspective, this might land differently for you and you might appreciate it, but more easily. For me, I did not come from a religious background. I had to understand that this concept that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, our human experience is here to help us grow and live out our spiritual essence, our godliness. Okay, and in order to do that, we need to get in order with, in alignment with, organized with the way divinity works, the way God works, the way heaven works. Okay, heaven is our natural state. That is one of the things I speak to all the time. Anything that throws us out of a great divine energy is us being thrown out of our godly nature and into our human struggle. But our natural state is to feel lit up, to feel great, to have a great and amazing life. God did not come and say, you are going to feel crappy. Okay, that's not what he created. Okay, or she or it. Okay, whatever your perspective is. I tend to use that languaging, but please replace it if you need to. Okay, our natural state is to feel good, to be in our godly nature, but we've been conditioned out of it and we go into struggle. Okay, so heaven is delight, it's ease, it's peace, it's freedom, all those that good juju stuff. And anything that throws you out of heaven is worthy of you looking at, investigating, analyzing, and changing so that you can up level and become more in alignment with your heavenly nature, your spiritual self. This is the path that takes you out of being a victim. So someone where things are happening to you and you're like a ball in the ping pong machine and you're being thrown asunder, to someone who understands how to create the life that she wants. So order is heaven's first law. Like, let's go back to that. So if order is heaven's first law and we are spiritual beings that are having a human experience and we're on a path to get back into our full embodiment of our spiritual self, and that's the growth path that we're on, then one of the things that we need to look at is anything that is disordered, okay, out of order. So one way you can look at that is the internal landscape. Anything emotionally that throws you out of order it throws you out of heaven would be something that's disordered. Okay, because by definition, anything, if heaven is order, then anything that throws you out of heaven is out of order. So you need to get yourself back in alignment, in order, in the right order with heaven. And it's your job to figure out how to do that. Now, today's lesson is about how to do that with your environment around you. Okay, so let's take a messy room. As you can see, my room's not messy. This is my living room. This is how I live. If I flip the camera around, you would see sitting at my kitchen counter. The kitchen is here. There's some beautiful windows. Everything is clean and tidy. But let's say you had a messy room, which I used to live with a messy room and messy stuff, and I would leave my stuff everywhere. I'm quite familiar with that. Maybe not as much as other people, but I had that tendency as well. So let's say you have a messy room, and there's this concept in the world of one of the physical laws is the second law of thermodynamics, which says everything is moving towards entropy, and that it's going into chaos. And that was always confusing to me, because what I saw when I started to learn the universal laws of success was that everything was ordered, but we created disorder. And so I was trying to figure out how those two things fit together. And what I recognized, among other things, was that that chaos only ensues if it's a closed system that you're not adding energy to, or the energy that you're adding to it is chaos energy. Okay, so let me explain what this looks like. So physicists now understand there's a whole theory out there that, like that the sun shines onto the earth and adds energy. And because of that, the earth is not a closed system. And so it keeps going into more and more order. There's a cycle to it, right? There is the life cycle of a plant, right? It grows, drops its leaves, it grows again. At 100 years later, it dies. And when it dies, you might go, oh my God, it's dying, it's chaos, right? Or let's say there's a drought someplace, and you're like, oh, that's chaos, but it's part of a bigger cycle. And if you change your perspective on it, you will see that it is all ordered. Like there is a reason for it, and it's the planet is always moving towards balance and order. Okay, but we don't have a large enough time horizon or a wide enough perspective on it. So there's always order that's being created, and you have to look at your environment and recognize that you are like the sun in your environment. You are adding energy to that environment. And are you going to add chaos energy, like the mess all over the place, or are you going to add order energy? Okay, this is a very important distinction. Okay, and you're going to want to do that in your business as well. So I was talking about your environment, but quite frankly, this could be how you run your books, how you organize your files when you save them, how you organize your project management, how you delegate to team. All of that can be disordered or ordered. And before you go, oh my God, I have so much to do, which you probably do. Okay, we can up-level this all the time. You're going to go back to where I started the podcast, which is we're going to do 15 minutes. We're going to do these in small chunks. Okay, we're not going to try and do everything at once. We're going to just do a bit at a time. And over time, if you're consistent with this, it's going to change everything. Okay, so you want to look at where your energy is going. Is your energy going towards order or towards disorder? And you want to think about your environment. And if it's cluttered, if it's disorganized, if it's disordered, and you want to have a more easeful, peaceful, delighted, free life, and you understand that in order to do that, you have to get in alignment with the way the universe works, and that's the way God works or spirit works, then you have to go and you have to look around. Did God, spirit, source, the universe create a mess? No. That would be a real disrespectful thing to say to that energy, right? To that intelligence. So if you are not living in alignment with that, then you have to get in alignment. No guilt, no shame, no self-flagellation, but you have to do it differently. Okay? There is a divine plan here, and you're fighting it. You're in resistance to it. What if you made it easier by getting into alignment with it and not fighting it and changing how you're showing up? Okay? So when you're disordered, you're putting energy into other things. You have energy, but you're putting them into other things, not into order, organization, and quite frankly, beauty and peace. Okay. One of the things that's happening in the Spirit of Wealth group as people are doing this is like they feel calmer and quieter, like the commentary in their posts around when they clear off their couch and it's all lovely to sit on. It's like, this feels so good. Or I've cleared out the cabinet where my wine cabinet is. Not only can I get to my wine, but it's like, that's so lovely, right? It's like everything feels better when it's organized. When your environment is disordered, you are putting energy into something else. Okay. You're not putting energy into creating order. So what are you doing instead? Okay. So generally, this looks like being fear-driven. Let me break this down for you. This looks like being reactive to other people's needs, putting other things ahead of yourself and your environment, and being very reactive and dropping things because you're in a rush, or dropping things because you don't have the energy to do it. So let me give you a couple examples here. So let's do a life example, and then let's do a business example. So the life example is, let's say you're cleaning up dinner, okay, and then you drop everything and you go over here and you help your kid. And then your husband needs something, so you go do that. And then your phone rings and you have a text and you respond to that. And you're constantly in reactive mode. And then it's 10 p.m. at night or 11 p.m. at night and you're too tired and the dishes didn't get done and your kitchen is a mess. That is being totally reactive. Okay. Now, why is that being fear-driven? That kind of reactivity, instead of saying, I'll get to that in a moment, babe, I'm just going to finish cleaning up, or you want to help me clean up and then I'll be able to get to that faster. That is a boundary. That is a self-worth action. That is a statement of worth and security, because you're not afraid of letting someone else down by doing what you desire, doing what you know will create order. Okay. If you are always rushed, like when you are getting dressed in the morning and you just try on 5 different outfits and you don't put them back because you're late. Okay. You're afraid of being late. And instead of being clear ahead of time, I'm going to leave myself enough time to put things away. You're more afraid of looking bad or letting someone else down than keeping your life ordered. Okay. So that's very reactive. And it's like a distracted 6-year-old, right? Like they're just, it's like how you were when you're young. You see the next thing and you just go for it. You see the next thing and you just go for it. Okay. There's some joy to that and flow to that. But when it's constant, it has a detrimental effect on your life. Now let's look at a business example. Let's say that you know that you have to review your books or do something in your business, or you have a proposal that you have to do or calls you have to make. but your team is asking for some feedback. And you're just like, oh, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and I need to do this. And you haven't blocked time on your calendar, which is an act of order, by the way. You will be like that distracted 6-year-old, just jumping to the next thing, okay? And it creates chaos and disorder instead of moving you towards order. Now, it doesn't mean you never respond to your team, but you need to create parameters around that and boundaries. And I will say that this is an ever evolving piece for me in my business. As I grow the business and there are new people on board, there's always a transition period where I'm able to create better boundaries around how I interact with my team. And I love that process, but fundamentally, you can't be in that reactive mode. You have to be in that agency mode, in that proactive mode, okay? And I guess my point is what that looks like as you grow your business shifts, okay? How I needed to be responsive in the beginning changes as I bring on more team members, grow the business, they're higher level team members, how much I need to be responding and how much time I need to dedicate to that shifts. Okay, I want to give you a few other examples of what you might want to look at and put in order. And when you do this, it makes everything easier in your business and your life. So one thing is look at if you're wasting energy. Okay, 2 things on wasting energy here. One, when things are disordered, you can't find things. You can't find your files. You can't find the check that someone gave you. You lose track of important things in your business. And the decisions you've made, all of that, okay? So this is really critical that you clean this up. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting energy chasing things, okay? Finding things, you're going to be wasting energy on cycling thoughts like it's not working, I can't get ahead, why is this so hard? That's a waste of energy. What you need to look at there is like, how do I put this in order? How do I make this easier, okay? You can also waste your energy with the beat up thoughts, right? When you start saying, I'm not good enough, I'm, screwing up or whatever it is, that's a real waste of energy. All of that is disordered thinking. That's disordered thinking, okay? As you know, I talk a lot about mastering yourself to master money. This is one of those things, like that's disordered thinking. You gotta let that go, law of sacrifice, let something of a lower nature go in order to call in something of a higher nature. So you have to look at where the thoughts that you're thinking are not just a waste of energy, but actually disordered, okay? Not working in alignment with the truth of the universe, okay? So let's look at what you might have to put into order. Okay, we talked about the environment. So some key things, your desk, closets, office, kitchen, garage, car. Your car is not a closet and it's not a trash can. Clean up your car. It's a car. It's a vehicle. Okay, it's car. Okay, it's important to me to keep my car clean. Okay, like I want it washed. I want it clean. I want to get in my car and have it be amazingly beautiful. One like little story that I heard about Michael Jordan is that he had his car cleaned every single day. So when he got into it and went to work out and went to a game, he felt like $1,000,000 freaking bucks. Okay, that was a standard for him. That was part of his process for showing up at that elite level. He's like, this is who I am. This is how I show up. It was part of him creating order in his life. So he wasn't distracted by anything. He wasn't pulled off his game. He wasn't looking at his car and thinking, oh, it's not clean. That's a distraction. That's an energy loop that needs to be closed. You're losing energy when your mind is looping on those things. For me, it's important to have beauty as well. So like I organize my closets according to, type of clothes, but also color so that it's easy to find things and that it feels ordered to me. Like create your life as a work of art. That's a concept there. Let's talk about systems in your business. So This is social media systems, spreadsheets for reaching out, networking, systems for onboarding team, systems in your life. Let's look at those. Maybe you have kids. Do you have a pickup system? Do you have a daycare system? Do you have a backup plan system, right? Do you have stuff in your life that you need to take care of? Like, one of the things that I am not good at is keeping my plants alive. I love my plants, but I needed to create a system for myself. I'm just owning that. Like, I needed to create a system for myself to really keep my plants happy. Time management, you need to look at that. So those are just a few things for you to pay attention to. Now, don't do everything at once. Remember the caveat, just a little bit at a time, okay? Now, the law of vibration says that everything matches. Okay, everything vibrates according to a particular frequency. Your thoughts vibrate, your actions vibrate, your emotions vibrate, things vibrate, all of life vibrates. We live in an ocean of motion, and we are vibrating as well. And everything that vibrates has a match to it. Okay, it matches. So if you have a thought that is negative, that's generically, it's vibrating at a particular level, and you're going to get matched by results that are like that. Okay, when you change how you're showing up, you get different results. It's the same thing with disordered thinking, disordered feelings, disordered ways of being will be matched on the outside with material disorder as well. So I can tell just by looking at how someone shows up or what's in their Zoom background, what level of order or disorder is in their thinking. Okay. Now, sometimes people clean up their Zoom backgrounds, and that's like the one place that they're showing up in the world in an ordered way, but everything else is chaos. So I can really tell how a person thinks by looking at their environment, though. Okay. It's a reflection of what's going on the inside. Now, there's no value judgment there. There's not like this person is better or worse, but I can tell you that I can tell that the way you're thinking is not going to get you that up-leveled result that you want if your environment is not ordered, because the outer reflects the inner. Okay. And the inner also reflects the outer. So if you create a beautiful environment for yourself, a clean and tidy environment, which again means, you know, what's surrounding you, but also your systems, then you will get that matched on the inside. You'll up level who you're being based on needing to be someone who matches this environment. So it works both ways, as inside, as outside, as outside, as inside. So as inside, so outside, as outside, so inside. Okay. So if you want different results, start decluttering, okay, and organizing your life. And again, there's this caveat, don't do that instead of the needle moving action, but in addition. And everyone can start this, okay? Everyone can start this now. One more thing that I want to talk about here is the law of cause and effect. So this cycle works when you change on the inside, you get different results on the outside. When you change on the outside, it will cause different results on the inside. So that's another way of looking at what I just talked about with the law of vibration. Okay. And there's a cycle to that. So this is a matter of desire. You have to want it. You have to want more for yourself, and you have to want it more than your tendency, your habitual pattern to put other people first or not have enough internal self-worth to take the action to do the tidying up of your internal and your external environment. It's an act of self-worth to do this, and you'll love the results. You'll never go back. Little moment there. I can feel myself wanting to go back to old patterns, but I stop myself in the moment and I hang my dress up. I make my bed. I don't say I don't have time. I do it. Okay. That holds me to that higher level. And you have to keep this up, right? Because you need to be that sun adding energy to your life. Okay, so with that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this. Is it going to be a challenge for you? And are you up for it? Okay, well, take care. Have an awesome day. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. We have got a ton of free resources for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. And you can find that link in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting our message out to more and more women. If you'd be willing to share this video with all the unstoppable women in your life, that would be fantastic. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Reviews, likes, and comments are greatly appreciated. We go in and read them all. So thank you for those, and thanks for listening, and be unstoppable.